Hi, this is Jamie with That's Incredible, and today I decided to play with some water brush pens. These are by Eye Candy Supply. I also am going to be using this stamp of the month. I think this was April from Close to My Heart, called To My Bestie. When I saw this set, I just knew I had to watercolor with it. I'm also going to be watercoloring on some Strathmore Bristol Smooth cardstock, which is my all-time favorite. And I already have a piece taped down to my board here. Set those markers aside and let's go ahead and get stamping. Today I'm going to be using some Onyx Black Versafine ink pad. This is waterproof, so it works wonders when using watercolors or water brush markers. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp these two lovely ladies right here in the center. And then I will take my balloons. And the nice thing about the acrylic stamps is that you can see through them. I'm going to ink those up. Ink on my finger. There's a baby wipe so I don't get any ink on my paper where it doesn't belong. All right, excuse my head if it gets in the frame there. I want to make sure that I stamp it correctly around her hand so it looks like she is holding the balloons. Ta-da! And that looks great. So I'm done with that. I'll wipe off my stamps real quick and go ahead and set those aside. And I will get out my water brush markers. All right, so these are 24 markers and they come with their own water brush. And then I also have some extra water here and a clean acrylic block in case I want to do any block to brush transfer. And of course, we always need a paper towel when watercoloring. All right. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to color the ladies first, and then we'll work on the background. Okay. I'm going to color her skirt purple. And the nice thing about these watercolor markers is you don't have to use water if you don't want to, but you can. And it does add a nice color there. They have a nice fine tip. Some purple. Then maybe this pink for her top. Now I'll spread this color out a little when I use the water brush marker, so if I don't get all the way to the edge, I don't worry about it too much. Or if I miss and have little white spots in my coloring, when I take my water brush over the top, it kind of fills all those in. She's about done. And then I think for her friend, we're gonna have a green. Oh, I think I want a darker green than that. There we go. And when I use my water brush, I'll blend these colors out a little bit. And then I think I want her to have a little bit lighter green shirt. green belt and a green collar. All right, go ahead and color her top in. All right, now I know the coloring is not perfect, but wait till you see the watercolor. All right, so I'm gonna start down here with her skirt. And I have a wet brush and I squeezed a little over here on my paper towel. And so I'm just gonna let that kind of do its own thing. Let it just bleed out. Clean my brush and go over to the green and get my skirt to kind of bleed out over here too. Giving it that watercolor effect. I just love that. Oh, I got a little too much water there, so I'm gonna use my paper towel and soak up some of that. There we go. All right, now to color her green top. Adhere it to my card, so I'm not really sure how much purple will still be on my card when I actually get to make it. All right, so there we go. I think I really like that. I think I even like that better than my first one that I did. I'm gonna go ahead and sop up some water where it's kind of pooling on the edge. And then we'll just have to give this a minute to dry, or two. I'll go ahead and sop up the water. There we go. And I just use painter's tape and tape this down to my board. That off, and that top will be cut off, but I can add some color and kind of blend it out. You'll never even know the difference, just in case I don't get it all cut off. There we go. All right, so I'm going to set this aside to dry. And then I have, here is the original one that I did, and it is already dry. So we're actually going to put this one on the cards. Here's that green and purple that I told you I wasn't real fond of, but it will work. Go ahead and set my markers aside. I'm not going to need those again. And we will get this cut down and ready to put on a card. All right, so this is my paper cutter. And I'm going to cut this down to, well, card front is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I think I will cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4. A little off that edge. And there's the 4-inch mark. And I do measure from the bottom just because it's closer. 4 inches. And then I'm going to, oh, we only have, this is 5, so I'm actually going to cut this down to 3 3/4 instead. There we go. Grab my card base here. It's just a standard card base. And I think we'll back that with a purple. This is basil cardstock, bubblegum color, fresh out of the package. Okay. And we will cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4. And when we mount that, it'll look just like that. So I'll go ahead and, now when using watercolor paper, I do use a lot of adhesive because I want the card to be as flat as possible. Okay. All right, there we are. Oh, that's a little crooked. Let me try that again. There we go. That's better. Give it a good rub on the back. And then I think I will use my foam tape and I will pop this layer up on my card to give it some dimension. Now I want to make sure I cover the entire back with foam tape so that when I do send it in the mail, it does not warp or get damaged. All right, one more piece. Go ahead and trim that off. All right. Go ahead and peel all the backings off. Down nice and firm. All right, I think we need to add some bling. All right, I have some enamel glitter duo that are some old close to my heart that I just have here in my stash, but I think that they will look pretty nice on my card here. I'm going to add just some random, a little one there, maybe a little bit of blue. like the way that looks. And I think just one last little detail, because it's just never enough. I'm gonna go ahead and do some faux stitching all the way around my card. All right, I'm just about done here. I think the faux stitching just adds so much detail. There we go. And then I can stamp a nice sentiment in the background. And voila, a finished card. Thanks for stopping by, and that's incredible.